No one expected the news to break the way it did, sudden, chaotic, and terrifying. In the early hours of the morning, a single headline appeared from an anonymous entertainment account. Jamie Dornan rushed into emergency hours-long surgery. At first, fans thought it was clickbait. But within minutes, major outlets began confirming that Jamie had indeed been taken to the hospital after a severe medical episode. Hollywood froze. Social media erupted with fear. The details were scarce, which only made everything worse. Sources said Jamie had collapsed unexpectedly while preparing for a demanding project, forcing his team to call emergency services. He was rushed into surgery almost immediately, leaving even his closest colleagues in shock. Rumors swirled that the situation was more serious than anyone initially thought. People across the world sent messages of hope, unable to believe that the always strong, always composed Jamie Dornan was suddenly fighting for his health. As the news spread, fans flooded timelines with memories, prayers, and emotional messages. Some shared photos from past conventions where Jamie had greeted them warmly. Others posted clips of his interviews, describing how his kindness had impacted them. It was as if the entire world had paused to hold its breath. Even celebrities who rarely commented on personal matters took a moment to express concern, hinting that the situation behind closed hospital doors was deeply alarming. While the public reacted with panic, the people closest to Jamie went silent. His team refused to issue statements, his family stayed private, and no one seemed to know exactly what had happened. When things are quiet in Hollywood, that silence can be even more frightening than the noise. Fans began to speculate. Had the surgery gone wrong? Why was the operation taking hours? Why wasn't anyone updating the public? But the person whose reaction shook fans the most was Dakota Johnson. Dakota was in the middle of a press commitment when the news reached her. According to a crew member who witnessed the moment, her entire expression changed instantly, shock, fear, and disbelief crashing across her face in a single second. She excused herself abruptly from the set, leaving the room in stunned silence. Minutes later, she was seen pacing backstage, phone pressed to her ear, her voice trembling as she tried to get answers from Jamie's team. One source claimed Dakota's eyes filled with tears the second she heard the words, "emergency surgery." Another said she kept repeating, "Is he okay? Just tell me if he's okay." For someone known for her calm demeanor, her emotional reaction sparked even more curiosity. Why was she this shaken? Why did the news hit her so deeply? Fans immediately noticed Dakota unfollowing her scheduled commitments that day. She canceled an interview, postponed a meeting, and disappeared from public view for several hours. Her representative said only that it was due to unexpected personal circumstances, but no one believed that explanation, not for a second. Dakota's connection to Jamie had always been the subject of speculation, and her visible panic only made the rumor mill spin faster. Meanwhile, conflicting updates about Jamie's condition added to the chaos. Some outlets claimed the surgery was going smoothly. Others insisted complications had arisen. Without a clear statement, the situation spiraled into a global guessing game. Every minute of silence felt like an hour. Every hour of surgery felt like a lifetime. Dakota, according to insiders, tried reaching out to Jamie's family directly. She wanted updates, real ones, not filtered through PR or social media whispers. She wanted to know whether he was conscious, stable, or still being operated on. At one point, she reportedly broke down quietly, leaning against a wall, covering her face with both hands. It wasn't the reaction of a distant colleague. It was the reaction of someone whose heart was deeply, personally invested. As darkness settled over LA, fans waited for something, anything. A statement, a rumor, a sign. The world was united in the same dreadful question. Was Jamie Dornan going to be okay? And just when the panic seemed unbearable, a member of the hospital staff leaked a chilling update. The surgery was still ongoing, and doctors were fighting to stabilize him. The word, complications, spread like lightning. The fear reached its peak. Dakota's reaction to that update shocked everyone even more. But that belongs to the next chapter. where emotions spill over and truths are revealed. As night fell over Los Angeles, the hospital lights still glowed through the windows, cold, clinical, and unrelenting. Jamie Dornan had been in surgery for hours, far longer than anyone expected. Outside, fans gathered silently, holding candles, posters, and handwritten notes. Inside, medical staff rushed through hallways with urgency. The world waited, Hollywood waited, and somewhere across the city, Dakota Johnson was fighting her own storm of emotions. After receiving word that complications had arisen, Dakota didn't hesitate. According to a source close to her team, she immediately arranged transportation to the hospital, ignoring her own schedule, ignoring her publicist's warnings, ignoring everything except one desperate question. Was Jamie still fighting? She slipped into the building through a private entrance, wearing a mask and hooded jacket, trying to stay unnoticed. But even hidden, her fear was unmistakable. She wasn't allowed into the surgical wing, only family had clearance. But she waited in a quiet corner of the lobby, pacing, whispering into her phone, gripping a small bottle of water she never opened. Several people recognized her but respected her space, sensing her emotional state was too fragile for conversation. One nurse said Dakota looked like she was holding her breath for hours, eyes fixed on the hallway that led to the operating room. Meanwhile, Jamie's family had arrived. Amelia Warner, pale and shaken, was escorted into a private room with their children. Dakota stayed at a distance, respecting boundaries, but it was clear she wanted updates, real updates. She whispered to one of Jamie's longtime assistants, "Just tell me when someone knows something, anything." The assistant nodded, expression heavy, offering a reassuring but uncertain smile. Hollywood reporters, somehow tipped off despite security measures, began speculating wildly. Was Dakota at the hospital? Did she have a right to be there? Why was she reacting so intensely? What did this mean about her relationship with Jamie? The tabloids twisted every rumor into something explosive. Hashtags began trending globally. Fans begged for truth, for comfort, for reassurance. But all of Hollywood remained silent. Finally, after nearly 8 hours, the doors to the surgical wing opened. A senior doctor stepped out with a clipboard, exhaustion etched into every line on his face. Dakota stood up instantly. Amelia emerged from the private room, her hands trembling. Everyone waited as the doctor cleared his throat. The hallway went still. The first words were cautiously hopeful. "He's stable." The surgery was extremely complex, but he made it through. Dakota closed her eyes as tears instantly filled them. She covered her mouth with both hands, overwhelmed with relief. Amelia sagged against a relative, gripping their arm. The doctor continued explaining the situation. How close the call had been, how hard the surgical team had fought, and how Jamie would need time to recover. But the most important words had already been said. He made it. Dakota stepped away from the wall and took a few shaky breaths. According to someone present, her whispered reaction was simple but filled with raw emotion. "Thank God. Thank God." It was the sound of someone who had been terrified down to their bones. A few minutes later, one of Jamie's representatives approached Dakota quietly. "He's in recovery," she said gently. "Only immediate family can see him right now, but he'll want to know you were here." Dakota nodded, swallowing hard, her voice barely audible as she replied, "Just tell him I'm glad he's okay. Please, tell him that." It was clear she understood her limits, yet she cared too deeply to walk away without sending a message. As word spread that Jamie had survived the surgery, Hollywood reacted with a tidal wave of relief. Actors, directors, past co-stars, and friends posted messages of gratitude and support. Fan pages turned into digital candlelight vigils celebrating his recovery. Entire threads overflowed with love and emotional tributes. The fear of losing him had united millions. But one message stood out above the rest. Later that night, Dakota posted a short statement on Instagram. No photo. Just white text on a black background. It read, "Some people are more important to us than we admit. I'm grateful he's still here." The internet exploded instantly, the comment section filled with tears, theories, and emotional reactions. People analyzed every word, every punctuation mark, every letter. Was this simply concern for a co-star? Or something deeper? Something unspoken? While Dakota's message went viral, Jamie was still unconscious in recovery, unaware of the world outside. Unaware of the panic, the prayers, the rumors, and the person who waited hours in the shadows for him. When he finally opened his eyes, only family was present. But staff members later whispered that the first thing he asked was, "Who knows I'm okay?" And for a moment, just a moment, the hospital room fell into quiet understanding. Jamie Dornan survived the surgery. But the story that unfolded because of it, that was only just beginning.